Welcome to Global Economic Press, where we deliver trusted global finance and economic news, analysis, and reports, empowering leaders and investors with reliable, timely insights. I'm your host, Alex Brady. Today, we're diving into a story about resilience and innovation in the plumbing industry. Mr. Rooter Plumbing of London, Ontario, is celebrating 2 decades of service, and they're not just resting on their laurels. With increasing challenges from severe weather, they're implementing new strategies to protect homeowners from costly flood damage. Let's explore how this family-owned business is making a difference in their community. Mr. Rooter Plumbing of London, Ontario, the family-owned plumber that London and St. Thomas homeowners have relied on since 2006, is celebrating 20 years of business, along with reaching a milestone of over 2,000 Google reviews. With severe summer storms increasingly straining municipal infrastructure, Mr. Rooter Plumbing also announced a new flood prevention response protocol today to help residents spot early signs of basement backups before major storm damage occurs. The cleanup is the expensive part. A backed-up basement can cost a few $100s when caught early and cleared, and several thousand once sewage soaks into drywall, flooring, and whatever's been stored down there. Insurance doesn't always cover it. For anyone who's turned a basement into a family room or a rental unit, one storm can undo years of work in an afternoon. Not every London home carries the same risk. Older neighborhoods like Old North and Woodfield, along with homes built before the mid-1990s, tend to be the most exposed, especially where weeping tiles still drain into the sanitary sewer and a backwater valve was never added. Low lots near creeks and storm channels flood sooner than higher ground. And a home that's flooded once usually floods again because the cause rarely fixes itself. A few checks this week go a long way. Lift the float on your sump pump to confirm it still kicks on, since a pump that sat dry all winter can seize. Find out whether you've got a backwater valve on the main drain and that its flap moves freely. Keep floor drains clear and keep grease out of the kitchen sink. None of it is glamorous. It's also the difference between a dry basement and an insurance claim. Two devices do most of the work. A backwater valve sits on the main sewer line and snaps shut when the city sewer surcharges during a storm, stopping sewage from pushing back into the house. A sump pump handles the other threat, moving groundwater out of the weeping tile system before it rises through the floor. One guards against the sewer, the other guards against the ground. Most homes that have flooded need both. There's real money on the table for the fix. The City of London's basement flooding grant program covers up to 90% of eligible costs to install a backwater valve or to disconnect weeping tiles and redirect them to a new sump pump with a battery backup option included. The city sets eligibility and amounts, and they change over time. So it's worth confirming current terms with London's Sewer Engineering Office before any work begins. The London team handles the on-site assessment, the building permit, the inspection, and the itemized paperwork the city needs. St. Thomas homeowners may qualify under their own municipal program, and the team can point you to whichever one applies. In 20 years, I've stood in a lot of London basements at 2 in the morning, and the heartbreak is almost always the same. It was preventable, said Stephen Little, owner of Mr. Rooter Plumbing of London, Ontario. A backwater valve and a working sump pump cost a fraction of a cleanup, and the city covers most of it. I'd rather someone spend an hour checking those things this weekend than meet us on the worst day of their year. Flood protection is one slice of what the London team does. Day to day, the company handles drain cleaning, sewer line repair and replacement, leak detection, pipe repair, fixture installation, and 24/7 emergency plumbing for homes and businesses. A clogged drain that keeps coming back usually points to something deeper in the line. The team runs a camera inspection to pinpoint the cause before any digging starts, then clears it with hydro-scrub drain jetting when grease and scale are to blame. Water heaters belong on the same list. A tank that lets go can dump 150 liters or more onto a basement floor in minutes. That makes water heater repair and replacement one of the team's most common calls, especially through London's cold months when an aging unit finally quits. The plumbers diagnose the problem in person and lay out the options, with upfront, flat-rate pricing and no overtime charges. Mr. Rooter Plumbing of London, Ontario, serves homeowners across London and St. Thomas, plus Strathroy, Dorchester, Elmer, Tilsonburg, Ingersoll, Belmont, Port Stanley, Komoka, and the surrounding communities of Middlesex and Elgin counties. From sewer line repair in the older cores of London to water heater installs in newer St. Thomas subdivisions, the team knows how local homes are built and where they tend to fail. 20 years in one city builds a record you can read. The London business holds a 4.8-star rating across more than 2,000 Google reviews, earned on the routine jobs and the messy ones alike. Every plumber on the team is licensed, insured, and background checked. They lay down mats, wear shoe covers, protect floors, and clean up before they go. A live person answers the phone around the clock, so a burst pipe at 2 a.m. reaches a real voice, not a callback queue. All work is backed by the neighborly done right promise. If it isn't done right, the local team makes it right. Pricing is flat rate and quoted in writing before any work begins, with no overtime markup on nights, weekends, or holidays. And financing is available for bigger jobs like sewer line replacement, repiping, and water heater installation. The thing I hear most is that someone got talked down to or blindsided by a bill the last time they called a plumber, Little said. We quote the price before we touch anything, in writing, and it doesn't change because the job ran long. After 2 decades, that's the part people remember, and the reason they call us back. Homeowners across London and St. Thomas can book service or ask about basement flood protection anytime, day or night. You see the price before work begins. Call 519-451-7772 or visit mrrooter.ca, London, St. Thomas.